ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
What's happening, people? Welcome back to the channel, Football Therapy, with me, your host, Jan. How's it going? Are you okay? Are you okay? Oh, I'm so terribly sorry to hear that. What's happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. Second Chelsea news video of the day. Usually about 2 a day at the moment, as we navigate this summer of fun from Chelsea Football Club with a new management, new everything really. Lots of players going in, out, shake it all about, situations with PSR, etc. In this evening's video, Yannick After Dark, a little bit more Michael Olise, another club wanting Broja, but of course, the big bombshell of this evening, essentially, late afternoon, evening, is Florian Plettenberg, the sort of Sky Sports Deutsch correspondent, speaking about Bayern moving for young Levi Colwill, who, by the way, Chelsea rate incredibly highly, and that was reflected in giving him a massive deal. We know, we'll get into that as well. I have a dream to see Fofana and Colwill as Chelsea's centre-back partnership for years to come, for a decade plus. I'm worried because Colwill, and look, man, he hasn't done that much for Chelsea yet, so I get it, but he is sick. His capacity is awesome. His ceiling is massive. But he'd cost a lot of money, and he's a academy player, which means he's a pure profit asset, which means our owners... Guys, strap yourselves in. Thanks for joining me. We're going to get into it today, so please do like the video. If you want to support me, your content creator, that's very kind. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that, and you are all of you, mate, are welcome to subscribe and join the fun. And to be honest, it's an excellent community. I don't want to sound all lame and, wet by saying this, but the subscriber and viewer community here on this channel is friggin' dope. So big up all you, man. And also, if you want to become part of it, subscribe and hit the bell. Let's get into it. So the big story is Colwill. We'll speak about that in a moment. Let's start off with, firstly, Kicker is reporting, which is a German football publication, is reporting that former Southampton manager Ralph Hasenhüttl wants Armando Broja to join him at Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga, of course. Of course, he had Broja at Southampton and knows him well. Broja, I think, would absolutely tear up the Bundesliga, by the way. I think his transitional style of football has not style. Let me rephrase that. His transitional strengths would suit German football really, really well. Broja. Whether he'd want to go to a Wolfsburg is another thing. I don't know where Wolfsburg finished last season. I don't think they're in the Champions League Bundesliga table. I'm going to quickly Google that now, so I don't want to sound not informed. Yeah, they're not in the top 5. And the top 5 got Champions League with this season. Oh yeah, they're 12th. They're 12th in the Bundesliga. He will have better ambitions than that. Surely. Don't call me Shirley. But still, and yet another club that is really interested in Armando Broja. This guy has got many suitors. Just because this guy's made an inquiry, I doubt, you'd be very, very shocked if he ended up there, especially when Champions League clubs are interested in him, such as Monaco and Milan, and of course, we know Premier League clubs are looking at him like Wolverhampton Wanderers and Everton and West Ham. Plenty of suitors for young Armando, who we are all hoping has a good Euros campaign to showcase his talents. For his own good, because he's a young guy, a talented striker, he deserves a good career. But for us, so we can generate all that delicious money. Alright, we will talk about Colwill in just a second. A little bit of updates from Fabrizio Romano, who went on the United Stand, which of course is the Man United fan channel hosted by Mark Goldbridge. Interesting quotes here. He said stuff like, United are still in the race and they are fighting for Olise, so at the moment it's Chelsea and Man United. They need to sort out the manager situation as soon as possible so they can present the project to new signings. Of course, players want to know about the new manager, the system and the project. That's one thing Chelsea have over Man United. We know what players we've got, how we play football, this footballing structure, with recruitment team, with the sporting directors team, and indeed the new management team and how we're going to play. Look, man, Olise will get more money if he signs for Man United than he will for Chelsea. Simple as. So, and yes, look, it'd be remiss of me not to highlight the fact how they are in the Europa League and we are in the Conference League, despite us from league position qualifying for that and them not qualifying for anything. But, we got to take it on the chin. We lost that semi-final to Man City that we probably should have won. Anyway, no point crying over spilt milk. Yes, I would... Maybe I'm being a blue-tinted Chelsea fan here, but I would suggest that Chelsea have a more alluring project. Look, man, I made a video on this on my second channel, Football Yannick. If you want to hear that, I speak about Man United and how certain Man United fans are turning on Ineos. I speak about that. Go and watch that. But I think Ten Hag. I know on paper Ten Hag's done well, inverted commas, for that Man United side in terms of qualifying for Europe, Champions League first season, Europa League second season, League Cup first season, which is still a trophy, FA Cup second season, which is it's a lot better than the League Cup. So even though he qualified for a lesser position in Europa League, he got a better trophy. Like, that on paper in isolation isn't that bad in a very competitive league where, the likes of Aston Villa finish in the top four and, Postecoglou comes in and makes Tottenham better. Do you know all this kind of stuff? But Man United were awful. I mean, do you need me to remind you of that? No distinctive style of play, maybe a little bit transitional, they want to play on the counter-attack. Bruno Fernandes in vibes, running on the break in vibes. They looked lost without Lisandro Martinez. Tactically, they just bypassed midfield entirely and just really relied on this fucking... Oh, I swore. Damn it. Try not to swear. Apologies for swearing. They relied on this young lad, Manu, of course, to come in next to Casemiro. Anyway, point being, if you're a footballer, if you want the money, you go to Man United, you take the bag. You do what Alexis Sanchez did, you do what Memphis Depay did, you do what Angel Di Maria did. Do you know what I mean? I could go on. There's a list as long as you're you could do that, or he could come to Chelsea. Now, I don't want to act like Chelsea's the promised land at the moment. It's still a really unknown quantity with this new guys. We haven't won anything since the new ownership have come in, so that's really important to, it'd be stupid for me not to mention that. But maybe I'm being blue tinted, but looking at how Chelsea are being, and Ineos are trying to build Man United into a better project, by the way, and they will pitch that to Olise. But I just think, if you're not after money, and that's a big if, right? If you feel like, over my career I'll earn loads of money. If you want to be convinced by a project, me personally, I think Chelsea's a better project. Maybe I'm being biased as a Chelsea fan now, of course. But United are a big. Let's be real here. United are a bigger club than Chelsea. You get more money than Chelsea. I'm not being I don't want to denigrate that, but the fact remains that Chelsea just seem like a more coherent project in terms of where they're going with the young players, and they're not just buying random Galacticos like Casemiro or Nana, or spending £100 million on Anthony. There's just no direction there. Anyway, this isn't a Man United channel. Florian Plettenberg, then, of Sky Sports in Germany, has tweeted this: exclusive. FC Bayern is seriously, he's German, are seriously considering a transfer of Levi Colwill. Interesting how he hashtags just the Colwill. The 21-year-old centre-back from FC Chelsea, that's so German, isn't it? FC Chelsea he's been on Bayern Munich's list for a long time. If a move for Jonathan Tah doesn't work out, which I believe is he Bayer Leverkusen centre-back? Colwill is the top of the alternative for Bayern. It's also possible that he could join in addition to this primary target Tah. Important for Bayern, he is left-footed. Everyone loves a left-footed defender, don't we know it? Understand initial links with Bayern have taken place. And initial talks, sorry, not links. Talks! They're talking already! Jesus! That's mental, isn't it? That's chicken oriental. Alright, let's talk about it. Look, man, I was celebrating when he signed that extension in the summer, when we convinced him, because let me just give you context here. There is immense hype for Levi Colwill, like immense. Of course, he had a great championship loan, and then he won the under-21s, was it Euros? Euros? The championship in the summer, you know, and so did Cole Palmer, and Noni Madueke. And he's very, very highly rated. Remember, not only were Brighton trying to sign him on a permanent after he completed the loan. So you're almost saying Huddersfield. I think he wasn't a loan to Huddersfield, but he went to Brighton. Of course, he had an excellent season at Brighton. Under De Zerbi. And not only did Brighton really want to sign him permanently, they were trying to get him involved in the Caicedo deal. They really, really wanted to keep Levi Colwill. I think he was open to staying there because, of course, they qualified for the Europa League. The season just gone, and it was all good vibes, you know. And I think he was maybe considering it, but he sort of kept his head down a little bit. Chelsea said no, and Chelsea convinced him to put pen to paper for a new long-term deal. And it wasn't just Brighton. Genuinely, it was Liverpool. And not only Liverpool were... I have an understanding that Liverpool were considering throwing the bag at Colwill. And I know they spent ended up spending a little bit on Endo, 30 million on Mac Allister, but they had money to spend. Remember, they had an 111 million pounds bid accepted for Caicedo. So that would have been the Premier League record signing. Of course, we spent 4 million more, and it was also obviously the Premier League record signing. So Liverpool had a bit of cash should they wanted to do it, and they saw Levi Colwill as the successor to Virgil van Dijk. This is what we're dealing with here, man. And this is why Bayern Munich has suddenly popped up out of nowhere and they want to sign him. Now, not all Chelsea fans are believers of Levi Colwill, and if there's a massive bid that comes in from Bayern Munich, and I'm going to say it would represent pure profit on the books and ensure Chelsea are in no financial trouble. There will be Chelsea fans that think, yeah, all right, sell him. You know, there are some sort of bit more hipsters. I think Badia Shield's got, more to show, or Chelsea can buy X centre-back and he could fill that role well. I personally wouldn't sell Colwill. He's 21 years old. He just looks like he's got it. He's got leadership qualities. If you look at how he sort of communicates, it's really, really strong. He's a fighter, but he's technically gifted, and he can pass well. And like I said, I have a vision of seeing him on this sort of left-footed, left-sided, technical, graceful, strong centre-back on the left that hails from the Chelsea Academy, and on the right, superstar, high-ceiling talent Wesley Fofana, right-footer, of course, not a Chelsea Academy player, but a lifelong Chelsea fan. It's romantic, but also it's technical brilliance and talent. I want that, please. I don't necessarily want the Monaco boys that we spent loads of money on. I don't quite understand that, but we support them while they're still at the club. I just do worry that the owners, many of you people who will be thinking objectively and pragmatically here might think the same as the owners. Like if someone waves, I don't know. If they're gonna snap up 30 million for Broja, happy as Larry, maybe less, maybe 25. If someone waves 60 million pounds under their nose for their academy graduate Levi Colwill, I would think they would sell him, especially because it's not to an aforementioned Liverpool. Chelsea have shown, this new ownership have shown they have no issue selling to rivals in, Havertz to Arsenal, Kovacic to Man City, Mason Mount to Man United. But if you gave them an option for the same money to not sell to an in-league rival at the top of the Premier League, well, Bayern Munich, mate, how about £60 million cash for a pure profit asset and he goes out of the league? I do worry that will be a very, very tempting thing for the new ownership, and they'll feel like they can replace the value elsewhere. and as a new transfer that they can amortise the costs. They could buy another young centre back, sign him on a 7+1, amortise that over 8 years, and it will, instead of, we get £60 million. This is all, I'm theorising the figure here, but say £60 million immediate cash injection, and then, say they spend that 60 and spread over 7 years. It's less than 10 million a year, or whatever. So it's like 7 million a year or something like that. So they immediately get they get a different player, but they get £53 million immediately on the books for this year. It's like attempting business acquisition, but it's Levi Cole. I don't want to gas him up too much because he hasn't really done much for Chelsea. We've played him out of position at left back under Pochettino, but he's a centre back, man. He's a friggin' centre back. He doesn't want to be playing left back. He wants to play left centre back. He wants to get his head up. He wants to pass. He wants to drive into midfield, and he wants to be a penalty box defender as well, not a left back. And I think we should keep him. Look, it's interesting. It's certainly a talking point, and it shows you Chelsea are a club where we have really desirable players, and in a landscape where, PSR starting to show its teeth, as Todd Bowley once said. I do worry. But let me know what you think, though. Comment down below. I'll be very keen to hear your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on this. I've given you mine, so give me yours. And we move, man. Keep it... forgetting English at the end of the video. Keep it locked, and I'll see you back here very soon. Peace.